Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Today is Wednesday. Today is Level 3 Group Tutorial Day. That's the way I look at Wednesdays. So I get together after market and we sit and talk options for a good 2 or 3 hours after class on Wednesdays. So we had actually our secret options formula, which is, it's kind of like you graduate from the level 3 class and then you just get like sort of shoveled straight into that group. So all our veterans had a really cool meeting last night. Shared some really interesting research on SPACs by one of our site members and some resources. I think people appreciated that. Also, too, we've got a bunch of sort of veteran traders on the site, so we have a bunch of ideas that we're kicking around every week. So Kevin actually sort of drives the bus on Wednesdays for the daily brief, and he just sort of cycled through all the stuff that we were looking at last night. So super great summary. The TRI people get such a treat here, I swear. And also too, we had like the battle stations feed going this morning, although Kevin and I had to head off to a different meeting, so we didn't quite have a full episode there. But it was good content for the site people, and actually Kiran and I are sort of talking back and forth how we're going to get the education program, sort of the, I don't even know, we got God mode is learning about options and derivatives and advanced concepts like sector rotation modeling and harmonic trading patterns for trade location. Super advanced stuff. But Kiran and Daniele have, and I think they are actually, I don't know the exact name, but I think they're calling it the Market Makers Day Trading Program, something along those lines. I'll let them, of course, come up with the name. How do we fit all that into TRI? So, wow, TRI has just got a ton of stuff on the go here. And, of course, we got a pretty hot market right now, so stuff is popping right, left, and center. People got off a huge warrant win here this morning on the site. So, never a dull moment around crypto, that's for sure, or around TRI. And it actually feels, sort of mentally, I jumped ahead of myself there. It actually feels like crypto might have had a little bit of a capitulation low there the other day, and maybe we're carving out a little bit of a trading range now for the next month or two on ye old corn. That would be nice. Our sort of summary, I've been kind of moving away from the summary, but we should probably get back to this simple page that we do. There we are. As we're sort of going through the humming and hawing of whether the U.S. sort of heads down the deep big government rabbit hole that I think probably all the other sort of Klaus-driven nations, mine included, sadly, would like to see the United States go down that same sort of controlled by the banker class, sort of bureaucracy kind of world. I've often suggested, please, United States of America, don't give in, don't give in. Don't go into the light. Stay out of the light. Because I'll tell you, once you go down this rabbit hole of the banksters, and really sadly, this has started in 1913. It's just one vortex after another of sort of the big brother taxing society to the limit. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Please hold Mr. Biden accountable. And the funny thing is if he goes and passes a big old socialist program, oh God, that's going to basically just open the door for you-know-who to come walking right back into office here in about 4 years. So in a weird sort of way, if the Democrats actually want to try and hold on to power, they really shouldn't press for a massive socialist program here. That's gonna, in a sort of weird sort of way, that's kind of what undid Obama and what created Mr. Trump to begin with. They just went too hard on the socialist side. But oh well, what can you do? Rhetoric. Ran. I do find it interesting that how is the 1% best served here? It seems to me that this stock market's a little too strong for them to really drive home that socialist agenda. Maybe the 1% and the banking class kind of go, look, we've already got what we want. We don't really want a bunch more socialism. Maybe we're not going to give you the backdrop, Mr. Biden, to get your runaway socialist program. I would definitely say into the end of this month, because keep in mind, June 30th is the day. Into the end of this month and the first week or so of this new quarter, April, May, it's going to be an interesting tell as to what the direction of the United States of America is going forward. If we do have a normal sort of seasonal launch, we should have a very powerful rally coming out of this July 4th weekend. So, be prepared. If anything, kind of like what you see here with this small cap index here, you can see the head and shoulders. I mean, it's kind of weird. You can see it's sort of like there's one shoulder, there's another shoulder. So maybe this has to have a couple dips in here. But you can see, man, if this thing starts ramping up through here, the beginning of July, holy for holies, that basically it's saying, look at, we're heading up here. So that'd be very, very bullish of risk. Probably on the heels of a whole bunch of blockchain stocks that all go crazy on things like NFTs taking over the world. And the interesting thing with that NFT story is I don't think anything's gone away. I had suggested to the site today through my sort of daily rant that all it's going to take is one of these big fucking media companies to come out and say, like Disney or something, to come out and say we are going to officially NFT every single movie in our library. Or, there's a guy that all the SPAC kids are following really closely, and he's in on a deal with a big music house, I think it is. Which one was it? This one, I think, is PSTH. I think this is the Universal Music Group. I mean, what happens if a guy like that pulls off the deal, goes and buys it, and says, okay, we're now going to officially NFT every single piece of music in our library? Ay. And that's actually what I think's going to happen here this summer. So, there's a crazy, outlandish prediction the old man's making. Don't get into the business of predicting markets. But Beamish, that's exactly what you're doing. I know, but like my old man, my parents used to always say, my mother would sit there just fucking honking on cigarettes, right? Just one after the other. She was a total chain smoker. And she'd be like, don't smoke, it's bad for you. So, oh, goodness. I mean, it's probably, especially if you're relatively new at this, it's probably not in your best interest to get into the habit of predicting. But what the hell? That's my indulgence. 30 years in the business, I get to break the rules. I will say, if this U.S. dollar index has topped out here, this railroad tracks, and it's interesting how it came in right at a foggy, boggy level, too. Also, 1.618 extension level. Mind you, that's extension off of that old range. We should probably do that off of there. How do you do that? Actually, okay, that makes sense. So 1.618 to 200%. That's basically this head and shoulders bottom here. I think it makes sense why the U.S. dollar index stopped there in the short term. So if this has topped, that's sort of like a risk on kind of bet. And like we said there the other day, U.S. dollar index on that reversal there has jumped right back up. Or, excuse me, stock index, the ES, just jumped right back up. Remember we said Wall Street got long a ton of stock here through Friday's options expiry. Crude oil looks like it's pressing to new highs. So that has got to be bullish of risk. New highs. Probably a momentum divergence here, so I don't know whether you really want to chase that, but it is a market structure signal. This also too is a 3-bar fractal, so the 3-bar fractal rule just simply says, and if you think about it like inverted head and shoulders, same sort of logic. These two highs are the neckline, so boom. Target's got to be 200%, so 75.09. Yeah, that's just off of this particular contract. I remember talking to you guys a while ago. This son of a bitch looks like it's pointing up to like $100. So AB, right? And this is very loosey-goosey drawn, but C, let's see where that takes us. $92. Wouldn't even be surprised. And it, like this, I do like to sort of listen to the market. So notice this is actually probably a good learning piece, especially for that guy who's like, well, I don't get any value. This is just a shill. There's no reason to listen to you here. This might not be a bad example of how I like to draw tools, but then I like to ask, is the market actually respecting this? And when I look at this 2.618 level, I see, well, not really. I mean, we blew up through here, all the way up to this high here. Then we pulled back. So maybe the market's just not respecting that study. Well, what happens if we maybe draw it off of that study? Okay, well, maybe that's a little bit better. And that's actually how I like to do my TA, is because I'm a big fan of sort of confluence of levels. So I like to ask, are we getting like multiple signals that are suggesting, well, maybe we're good to move up into this level. So that's actually how I like to use these tools. Sort of, maybe as you're going through your research, just draw some levels and just see if anything sort of jumps out at you as, all right, it looks like the market's respecting that. So anyway, that's the way I like to do my TA. So as you can see on this crude oil, there's a bunch of levels that we can work with, but I don't really see anything solid here. So jury's still out. As far as I'm concerned, I think the jury's still out. And what's worrisome is maybe it's this level it's working off of. Oh boy, something like that. So we want up in this 85 area. I don't know. I have to really watch that. I don't see any clear direction based off of this foggy boggy concept. I do like that ABCD, boom 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 boom. The only problem with that study is that sometimes those ABCDs, you go boom boom like that, and then you're going to draw your extensions. So, and then of course that's backwards, so let's go with that. And then what you have to do is you have to take the tool and superimpose it right over that low there. So now you have your 100%. That's the asymmetrical ABCD. But ABCDs, we did this back in the spring when Bitcoin was going nuts. Sometimes they can go up to 127s, right, which is not asymmetrical. It's actually kind of wonky. Sometimes they can go all the way up to, where are we here? Right. All the way up to 1.618. So I haven't got a friggin' clue where the hell this damn market wants to go. But, if we start drawing some levels, interesting how off of this range here. Is that our 100%? Oh, no. Okay, so there we are. So interesting. What I see is 4.669 is jumping out at me and up around this 160. So look at that, $113 a barrel. Jesus H. Christ. Jerks. Anyway, go fill up your gas tank. Looks like I wouldn't be surprised we get a whole bunch of sort of, hurricane news and stuff. Let's really freak the people in the Gulf Coast out, that kind of stuff. I heard there's like a hardliner that was just elected leader of Iran right now. So maybe he's going to start ramping rhetoric up. Oh boy, get ready. And actually, I did hear an interesting commentary from Larry Williams. He was kind of noticing, and Kevin even spoke about it today, is the industry starting to get a little concerned about this rising energy price. I think they are, because we like to follow the Dow Gold ratio. And it's not very happy. Not Dow Gold, beg your pardon. Dow Theory. And you can see, everybody's not very happy here. And more importantly, you can't really get a bullish reading out of the industrials if the transports are just cratering like this. So, they're probably starting to feel that higher oil price. What's scary is now that this is in full-blown bear, if we do happen to rally here and we can't make a new high, but the industrials do rally and they do make a new high, then that sets up, when we've been sort of following this, how is this going to play out? That does set up your Dow Theory sell signal where transports are making lower highs, but the industrials are making higher highs. So I got a funny feeling that's what's going on. And I do like the idea that the market is going to get its ass fucking kicked here in September, October this year. I really do like that thinking. And maybe it's on an oil crisis, eh? That would be the last thing anybody's expecting right now. Well, maybe the Iranians finally can sink some sort of a ship in the, the Strait of Hormuz? I think that's what it's called. That hardliner. If you were a betting person in the oil industry, I would be willing to bet that the temperature is going to be ratcheted up there, not down, over the next little while. So get ready for it. Of course, that doesn't really help crypto either, in my opinion. A rising energy price, that usually cuts into technology and tech spending and stuff. Also, too, this rising energy price, seeing what we're seeing in the gold market, actually is conducive. If gold is breaking hard like this, it is conducive to see that energy price rocket. And the one outlier, the one thing that's got me perplexed here is if this energy market's for real, then this bond market should absolutely crater here. We had kind of talked about how the gold market and the bond market were kind of in rally windows. Now that those rally windows are closing, oh boy. I've kind of talked to you guys this before. A market that is supposed to be bearish, this way is a market that's supposed to be bullish, because, we just went through a big down cycle, so now we'll go through an up cycle. So a market that's supposed to be bullish and uppy, if it's not that bullish and uppy through it, what do you think is going to happen when it's supposed to be downy? Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Mr. Bond King, you better be damn careful here. Fuck, this looks dangerous. So, I don't know. If anything, I do like the case that oil might turn into a runaway bull here. Which, of course, is going to piss everybody off to no end, especially Greta. It's going to drive Greta crazy. But in a weird sort of way, maybe, they always say, what's the cure for high prices? How can you justify the world moving to solar, moving to nuclear even for that matter, but, moving towards, biomass, just going and cutting down trees en masse and turning them into mulch, and then turning that mulch into energy, which is stunningly expensive and just terrible for the environment. It's just, this environmental movement is such a fucking joke. It's ridiculous. I'm just going to say it. I always say it. It's the same damn message. Somebody call Greta up and say, you want to solve the environment problem, just get them to stop cutting the goddamn trees down. It's simple as that. Plant some more damn trees. Don't cut them down. I don't know. So, point I guess I would just make here. I thought it was kind of funny. China's basically, I think they were, and it's interesting. I sort of say this in public, and nobody's really buying this line. I think China heard the globe's message about how they didn't like them mining Bitcoin with dirty hydroelectric power. And instantly, the totalitarian dictatorship went, that's our fucking bread and butter right now. Get those goddamn fucking miners out of there and change the narrative now. That's what I think just happened here, folks. It's weird how nobody's talking about that. I mean, it's shocking. Anyway, I don't know. That's crazy, Brian. So I also think, too, that, especially given the way goddamn stocks and oil are acting, crypto probably should be a lot firmer. The only reason why it wasn't, of course, is again, there's more Brian rhetoric, opinion bullshit. I believe that the market just got way too ahead of itself, and it needed to correct. And I was sort of squawking with the public that yesterday that actually all we did was just a healthy 50% correction of this up move. This is exactly what's supposed to happen. And unfortunately, we're a little ahead of schedule, which means I think we could probably go back and forth here for quite a while and drive everybody crazy, which is kind of like trading range. I think Willie Woo came out and said, hey, 30, 40 grand, buy it. Looking for like, 200-300 by the end of the year. Oh, there you go. It's not a bad trade. So, if stocks and oil are as strong as they are, this asset should be stronger. We might get a nice 3-bar fractal there that fires tomorrow. We'll see. Today the day's still obviously pretty young. Maybe this turns into some sort of crazy-ass empire pattern. I do like the idea of this is like an Adam and Eve bottom. And this, to get me excited about crypto heading into the summer, this is actually what I'd like to see is let's get rid of the volatility. Let's just calm down. Get guys like John Bollinger going, hey, we got a nice squeeze here. Let's go. Let's pop the top of the squeeze. This is the typical summer time of year when crypto enjoys a nice rally. I talked with the good people on the site today about how when we had our meetup in 2018, I think it was. Can't remember, 17, 18. Here in Vancouver. We had a fantastic little summer rally. And then, once you get into August, September, the market breaks down and craps out here into the fall. That's pretty much exactly what I expect. I also do like the idea that we should have a half-decent summer sort of crypto rally season. I think DeFi and NFTs and all that shit, I think that's going to be a super hot story this summer. And I hate to say it, but, Mr. Jerk went and carved out, I thought it was an inside bar, but we were looking at the chart closely. It wasn't quite an inside bar. But I think I had mentioned it in public videos yesterday that it wouldn't surprise me. Let's see, isn't that interesting, Kevin? So on this one, and this is looking over at Trex, we do have an inside bar here, right? What's that low? 1650, 1632. Beg your pardon, it's not. No, it's not an inside bar. So we do have a potential empire, right? And you kind of saw on corn, same sort of thing. I get the feeling that there is an engineered trade that is being manufactured here where, if you could buy underneath 20 cents, 78.6, you know how much Brian loves that level. I think you're going to get a test of these highs, the original M breakdown top, which is basically going to produce that risk-free trade. You could even, right now, you can see what I've done here. You could even be hunting a reload zone of this range here, probably against those candle body lows. And if we got a nice dip against them over the next week or so, you probably get a really cool trade. So that might be something I might be hunting really, really closely here over the next week or so. And again, into that end of June, first week of July, that makes perfect sense to me. So what I suggested to everybody on the site is, if you want to make some money from trading through the summer. I don't know whether you're going to get something on the corn. The corn's, I get the impression, we're probably going to rally up and run stops up top here, 41,000. You get those crazy, Bitfinex Bitfinex, all those houses, those, the wrecked, FOMO, all that kind of talk on pops through here. 40, 45 G's, it wouldn't shock me this summer. Anything beyond that right now, I don't know. Especially with the fact that we just made a new low here. At some point, we're going to come down and test this. And I don't think it's going to hold. As I showed you there just a moment ago, my ideal scenario is we come down. Dead cat bounce out of today, what we're doing right now. We calm down, then we come down, and then everybody just forgets about this goddamn thing. And it just goes quiet. Because that's what we need to mark a bottom. We got to see some quiet here. So that's, yeah. If we just keep V bottoming and V topping up and down, up and down, up and down, then there is no bottom. It's just not going to happen. You got to get guys like John Bollinger interested, right? And the only way he gets interested, I'm just speaking for him, right? But he wants to see his bands contract. And that only happens when the volatility comes out of the market. Okay, so lots of volatility. Looks like we're enjoying a little bit of a dead cat bounce right now. I don't mind the idea of hunting some trade setups, especially maybe not so much on the corn, but definitely on things like some of the fun poop coins. Like I noticed that Luna, it held the lows that we were talking about yesterday. Hell of a battle in here. I mean, if that goes and Empire's out, that's a pretty good looking buy signal. Right off of railroad tracks. That's a tradable trade. Kind of like Doge. Probably, I'm not saying new highs. But is there a possibility to double your money here through the summer? That's really what I want to do. I'm not going to talk fucking moon talk. I'm going to talk, is it possible for me to go in and buy an asset that's $5, look to sell half of it on a double, let's even be a little bit generous, we'll say $10.50, $11, and get myself that risk-free trade? I'll tell you, that's not doable. That's actually quite doable here. That's how the guys get fucking stinking rich in this game, is they find these kind of opportunities, quickly establish a risk-free trade, and then just let the market do whatever the hell it's going to do with the rest. Okay, I think that's sort of my rant here for today. Sure hope you got some value out of that. We're working our way through this June. I mean, I don't know whether I really want to get so insanely over-the-top bullish yet. If anything, me, I like to buy against weakness. I did actually get filled on a lot of shitcoins and a lot of crypto. I bought some Ethereum there the other day because it hit good. I bought some Luna, but just ETH, for example. Finally came down to my 78 or 61.8. I was a buyer. Hell, maybe this thing goes and Empire's out. We rally back up, and I might even be able to get a sell half on a double. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. I bought it like 17 and change. I only need 34. That's right back into these wicks, and I can establish a risk-free trade. It's not a bad life. We'll see. Wish me luck. Who knows? Anyway, point of the matter here is I think it's time for us to start thinking about accumulating this stuff. Getting ready for that summer silly season. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Have yourselves a great rest of your day, everybody. PMA for the win. We'll do our fun little show tonight with the gang. And I think we're up to about 30 or 40 on the list, so maybe even into names that we might even think about buying now. So, all right, everybody. All the best, and